Welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. Well, actually today, you could call it Indoors with the Morgans. We're gonna start things off this afternoon by trimming out a window. We're gonna go from this to something that looks like these two right here. Now, if I had to count how many windows I trimmed out over the years, man, it'd be pretty easy. I think this is the 5th one. So let's see how it goes. All right, we're gonna start off by making the windowsill. All these windows are 3x4, but I have found already there are slight variations in the rough openings on all of them. You know, that's why they call it rough framing. Maybe off by 1/8 of an inch. So I don't cut all my pieces for all the windows at once. I do each one individually. Just seems to work for me. And I think this is gonna be a pretty good video because I'm sure that's 36 1/8. I'm sure there's a lot of content out there from professionals, but not all of us do this type of work every day, and not all of us have all the tools that someone that does this every day would have. All right, so we're 36 1/8 on the inside, and from the window to the outside of the tongue and groove, it's 5 5/8 on this side, and on this other side, 5 5/8. That's a good thing. So even though we're about 36 in between here, my windowsill is going to be 40 1/2 wide. So it sticks out on both sides a little bit. The other thing, even though I am 5 5/8 from the window to the outside of the tongue and groove, I'm going to make my windowsill 6 5/8. That way it's going to stick out a little bit because this piece of vertical trim will sit right on it, and it'll have just a 1/4 inch little lip on there that should look pretty nice. So I need a piece of wood 40 1/2 by 6 5/8 to start. All right, we're using poplar for all the trim. Even though all the tongue and groove in the building is pine, white pine, the poplar paints, you know, takes paint a lot better than the pine. You don't have knots that bleed through. First thing I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see, I got a few little cracks and checks here at the end, and I need to square my end up anyway. Just going to make sure I'm past them. And we're going to measure 40 1/2. As I said, we need 6 5/8 for our width. This board is 8 1/2, so we're going to rip this down on the table saw. Measure twice, cut once. Now, like I said, this board is 40 1/2 inches long. My window opening is 36 inches. So what I need to do is come in 2 1/4 on each side. I like a pen on this poplar actually. So I'm in 2 1/4, and I have this set at 5 5/8. This piece right here is what's going to sit back inside. So we're going to make a line here. And this is 1 inch wide. That's what I want for my overhang. And that's it. I need to cut this out now. One thing I learned pretty quickly on the first window is to give myself a little bit of wiggle room where you can. I want this line right here to be flush, nice and tight to the tongue and groove. I have a little bit of wiggle room right in here because I'm going to have another piece of 3/4 inch trim go down over top of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut on this side of the line on here, and then on this line right here, I'm going to cut on that side of the line. I'll definitely be able to leave 1 inch over here. I don't care if I'm you know, 35 7/8 overall, just to give me a little bit of room. You'll see what I mean when I put it in the window. All right, before we put that windowsill in place for a test fit, I got this little knot right here, and it's sticking up probably 1/8 of an inch, and that's gonna make everything kind of rock and not sit flat. So we're just gonna shave it off, sand a little bit. That's better. Some of that spray foam insulation can give you fits as well. That's good. Sits nice and flat. It's not rocking around. Now we'll cut the top. As you can see, I think you can see, I've got a gap right here and a gap on that side. That was intentional. It just makes sure I don't have to keep cutting it and jamming it in there, because I'm gonna have a 3/4 inch board sitting on both sides to cover that up. Next, we're gonna cut our top piece. Should be 36 and something. Yeah, 36 3/16. I like to kind of measure all across it, because like I said, it's rough framing. Back there, it's 36 1/16. Out here, it's 36 5/16. So we're gonna go, yeah, about 36 1/8. Now, hopefully we are 5 5/8. Yep, 5 5/8. Over this side, 5 5/8. All right, since I only need 5 5/8 wide, I'm using some 1x6s now. We're gonna cut this one at 36. Set our table saw to 5 5/8. Looks good. And like the others, 5 5/8. So I don't have to adjust my table saw. That'll be good. Yeah, that'll be perfect. Yeah, that'll be good. Now we're gonna measure the left side. It should be about the same, but we'll see. Yeah, left side showing 46 1/8. Just a 1/16 longer than the other one. Ooh, that's a little tight. Nope. That'll work. Perfect. Now I need some 2.5 inch material. I need one at 46 and a 16th. If you remember, that's what that right side was. 46 and a 16th. Should be 46 and an 1/8. Yep. And then the top piece that goes across the top, that's the same as this, 40 and a half. So 46 and an 1/8, 46 and a 16th, 40 and a half. So I'm only going to need one more piece for across the bottom. That piece right there. Yeah, you want that length to be the exact same, you know, right where it hits that top piece. The right side's good. I'll come over here to the left side. Ouch. Left side's perfect. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to leave those two right there, left, right. Everything else is cut except for that bottom piece. Top piece I'll put in the center, just like I did with this one here. Now we need to take a little break, because Melissa and I are going to do something against my better judgment. We're going to head to the big city. We're going to go down to Pittsburgh for the Home and Garden Show. I do want to see that. I just don't like going to the city. And once we get back from there, later this evening, we'll finish up this window. Well, we'll get these painted, and then we'll put them up first thing in the morning. So if you don't want to see anything from the Home and Garden Show, just skip ahead a little bit, but we'll get back to these windows when we get back. All right, before we go, I'm going to load up the wood stove here with some nice red oak. Cut the stove back a little bit. It's beautiful outside right now, but it's pretty chilly out there. And in the last video, I said, I think winter's over. We didn't have much of a winter. Spring is coming. I may have spoke too soon. I've been looking at the long-term forecast, and it looks like March, the rest of March, is going to be colder and snowier than February. That's all right. So you ready to go to the big city, Melissa?
We're going to head to the city.
Head to the city. You know, I'm not a fan of that, but we do want to go to the home show.
Yeah.
We are not looking for ideas for inside the building. It's almost done, but we're kind of looking for a commercial refrigerator.
Yeah.
We don't want something that, you know, you hook up to the internet. We don't want anything. No. We just want a good, big refrigerator
that keeps our food cold.
That's really all we're looking for.
It's crazy.
All right, it has been about 24 hours since we got back from the home show, and today kind of got away from me, but I just came over to the building here, and we're going to finish up this window, and when we're done with that, we'll talk a little bit about the home show. I was kind of surprised. All right, we're going to start off with the window sill. If you remember, we already kind of dry fit everything. I nailed over here on the sides, because that'll get covered with the board in here. And I will put a couple in the center, but with this brad nailer, it doesn't really leave too big of marks on there. Next up, we'll do the top piece. Right side that I have marked on the back of the board. Oh, a little tight there. Paint made a little bit longer, I think. Perfect. Left side. Right side on. Left side on. And last but not least, this piece on the bottom here. Well, there you have it. What do you think, Melissa? Seems okay, pass your inspection. So I think we told the story the other day. We went round and round on what color.
Yeah, we did.
We were gonna paint those, and Melissa wanted this color originally. I didn't even try it out. I was trying to convince her of something else. I spent a day and a half with different color paints.
You did.
And not only that, I would put it up, just put a couple nails in it.
Oh yeah.
Said sit back, look at it. And I think
he'd have me come in and be like, what do you think? I'm like, I go, well, that's what you really want.
And then I realized how ugly it was.
Well, it wasn't ugly. It was just not, I didn't want it on all the windows, and I think you didn't either.
Yeah, we don't have big fancy windows in here, and everything I was doing was kind of drawing attention to it. And I think this is awesome.
And then we tried another color, and then we tried this, and I think it looks great.
I do too. I think it looks fantastic.
And wait till you see the top.
Yeah, I'll show you the top here real quick, what it's gonna look like. So I don't know if you can really see the top, but the same black around the top.
Yeah.
And I used a I'm gonna use 1x8s. Well, it's about 8.5 inches wide at the top. And then there's a little lip there. And I used some 2.5 inch, ripped some 4-inch down to 3-inch. And there's a little ledge up there, okay? It's gonna do two things. One, it's gonna collect dust, but that's okay. We're gonna put rope lighting all the way around in here, and then all the license plates, some of the license plates you guys sent in will go across the top, all the way around the game room. We'll have them on the bar in different areas, and that rope lighting will kind of cast some light up on the ceiling and on the license plates. I think it'll look pretty nice. You look so little in this screen. This is a big room, Melissa.
Good. I need to look little.
You are little.
No, I'm not.
Sitting there by the wood stove.
Anyone that's asked, yes, I've gained weight.
No, you haven't.
Whatever. Just edit that out.
No, I'm not going to. So you this is like past your bedtime.
It is. It is. You wanted me to come over and check things out, and I like to come over and check things out, but I have to take the dogs out yet, and I'm ready for bed.
So before we wrap this up, I want to tell you about the home show last night. Melissa and I, we haven't been to that home show in probably, what, 15 years?
Yeah.
And the last time that we went, I remember they had like whole log cabins built inside of it.
And homes.
And like, it was amazing. It really was. Yeah. And a lot has changed since then. It's nothing like it used to be. I mean, it wasn't bad, but we were expecting a lot more. But tell them about your friend that you met there, Melissa.
Okay, so we were talking to one vendor and...
oh, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
The guy that we were talking to, you know what he does? He rents chickens.
Yeah.
And he has a pretty successful business. So he'll rent the chickens, the coop, and the feed, brings them out first thing in the spring, and they're already laying, and then he picks them up like in October or something, so you don't have to deal with them over winter.
Yeah.
And probably not a bad idea. I was kind of shocked. I think it was rentachicken.com, I think is what it was called. And probably good for people with little kids to get them kind of into it without having to do all the work.
Right, and it's a small enough cage coop thing that, you know, a lot of the HOAs and those sorts of restrictions.
You could slide them right in there, they'd never know.
Yeah, it's just a pet, considered a pet. So I think it's doable for a lot of people. I don't know, I might have to talk to my girls tomorrow and see if they want to go for rent.
Subcontract them out.
Yes, I don't know. Sometimes that might be against my moral compass. I don't know, renting out my chickens.
So anyway, the chicken guy said, hey, you got to go see this.
Yeah, turn around on the other side. You're going to want to go see this girl over on the other side. And I turned around and I instantly knew who we were going to see because she writes poems and she writes them with a typewriter right in her lap. She asks you a couple questions about what do you like to, you know, what do you want to know a poem about or hear a poem about. I said the outdoors. And she said, what's the outdoors bring you? And I said, peace and happiness. I enjoy the sunshine. Those were like pretty much the only conversation we had.
And she just sits there and types away on it.
A poem for us. And it was really nice. And the funny thing is, as soon as I turned around and I saw her and her sign, I knew exactly who she was. At the post office we deal with, at our P.O. box, her mom works there. And her mom had just told me about her daughter, Haley, and said, you got to check her out, get her on your YouTube channel and share her writing these poems. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, we will. And it was just last week. And there I saw her. So I'm really glad we connected with Haley, and she's got a great skill, very talented.
She goes to like, she works down a lot, near the strip, south side of Pittsburgh, at different events and all over, and people come up and talk to her, and then she just types out a poem and puts them on a nice card, and will read it to you, and you can keep it as a keepsake. But
very successful.
She's like Instagram and some other things.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description, or maybe check it out if you want a poem. It was really nice, and I'm so glad we connected with her. She's very talented. So Haley, if you're watching this video, thanks so much. It was great to connect with you.
It was. The other thing was pretty cool down there. They had a bunch of model trains, and I talked to the one guy. It said it takes him about 3 days to set all that up before the show starts. That's a pretty cool hobby, that is. I could see maybe down the road, Melissa, you know what I mean? We should put a train track all the way around the top of here or something.
Here we go. Well, yeah, maybe, Mike, maybe for the future. And you know what? You build a new building, you could do it in that.
She completely took this one over, by the way.
Oh, please.
Not even done.
I take nothing over. Have you ever noticed that, folks?
Is there anything else we're missing? So that was
the home show, and then there was also right beside the trains. There was a bunch of people came and built like cities and people and little figures from movies of Legos, tons of Legos. So I immediately was like, oh man, I don't want to go too close in case trip and fall into it. That's all I need. But a lot of talent, a lot of people took into their businesses and built up. Like there was the famous hot tubs and swim spas. Those are great.
Melissa spent some time in a massage chair.
A massage chair. I'm sold. I'm sold. Anyone want to send me a massage chair? Please do. I'll take it. This thing, you get in it, and it was kind of like a cup shape, and you get down in it, and it lasers your body. Okay, I'm just kind of pretending to show you how it goes. So it lasers your body, so then it massaged my fingers, my hands, my arms, up and down my neck, my spine, up and down, and then you can do different phases of what you like. Like he was saying different names for it, but it was like a, oh my goodness, it was so great.
I thought I was gonna have to lift her out and carry her to the truck because she was out.
Oh, it was great. Down my legs, it was squeezing, then it was massaging my feet. I'm sold. I'm sold. I wanted one. I wanted to buy the floor model, and Mike's like, I think we should just check it around. Or he doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
I think we should check around, Melissa. I'm like, whatever. I was so ready to take one home. So.
Yeah.
If you have one, do you love it? I loved the sample.
I didn't think much of them until you told me how much you enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely.
I could just tell.
Yeah.
So let me see what else before we wrap this up. We went over how to trim out the window. We went to the home show.
Yeah.
Melissa loves massage chairs.
And Haley.
And we met Haley.
And rented chicken.
And you can rent a chicken. So I think that's about it for today's video. I mean, what else could you cover in this one?
Exactly. You've got it all.
But that's it. We appreciate y'all being here.
Thanks so much.
And we'll catch you on the next one.